was my boy, my brohan, my comrade in arts, Reza Salazar, which if you just came in, you heard him playing guitar, and Reza is gonna be a partner with me during this experience. So this is, even though like I'm promoting my e-chat book, RoaDMaN, I definitely wanted to have someone like Reza doing this with me. So so Reza, say que lo que hay, to the peoples.
Hello, everybody. Happy to be here. We're gonna try to give you just a little bit of music in between Mando's awesome words, poems, and monologue, and surprises that he's got for you. Just to sort of try to offer you an experience through these tools that we have right now, and hopefully someday soon we'll be able to do it in person for you guys.
Gracias, Reza. Besides being a musician, Reza also is an amazing actor. This man, you've probably seen him in shows and you were like, oh yeah. And this cat is something special. So again, I'm blessed to have him here with me. But let's get this party started. Now say hi to some of y'all that I see over there. So the first poem I want to start with is a poem that I am dedicating to Ahmaud Arbery. If some of you have probably heard about Ahmaud by now, I hope you have. If you haven't, just look him up. You can look at hashtag #RunWithMaud, M-A-U-D. And Ahmaud Arbery was this young black man who was out for a jog in a neighborhood in Georgia and was murdered. Modern day lynching, and murdered by this ex-cop and his son, these two white men, and another man who helped in that murder. And I know it's rocked a lot of us, but we also know that unfortunately this is nothing new, that we've been dealing with this for a very long time. And so this is a piece that I want to start this off with to dedicate to Ahmaud, and it's called Heavy. Sitting on my porch, reading a book, just saw a young black man jogging past. I'm gonna read it one more time because it's short. Heavy. Sitting on my porch, reading a book, just saw a young black man jogging past. Dale con dale. Map making. I like maps because they lie. Wisława Szymborska. The map inside me, hidden. A treasure in my lungs, in my skin, in my story. The map terraforms with peaks and valleys outlined by the blood of our ancestors, my ancestors. Ancestral knowledge shapes my identity. Ancestral trauma shapes my pain. Turn to page 1491 to know them before Columbus stole their origin story. The map originates in my future mother and father before they knew of hidden treasure. It starts in the Dominican Republic, eastern part of the island first known as Haiti, Quisqueya to the indigenous Tainos. Haiti, primo of the Western Divide. Shared blood runs deep with ambivalence. Turn to page 1844 to know how utopia was. The keys, cassava, guava, brown skin and virtuous hips drumming out rhythm of Afro codex, la tambora, si, perico, y piao. The key, language, ferried through imperialist teeth to the ears of settlers on other stolen shores. Barbacoa, barbecue. Hamaca, hammock. Huracan, hurricane. Turn to the pages of your Oxford English to find our stolen treasure. The map reforms in New York circa 1979, stretched out on the vientre of the woman who would become my mother. I'm the fourth X. Turn to page 2016 to know my beautiful struggle with art and commerce. She and my future father have to figure out how to locate empty bellies and unearth hidden dreams with limited instrumentation. Turn to page 1993 to see how I stole my blessing. Manhattan's map was also formed by una tortuga carrying the Algonquin nation on her mothering back. Turn to page 1626 to learn how these rich, varied, starved, divided, fighting, spiritual, democratic people were duped out of their own game of trade. Stolen in translation. See serpent's tongue. The map inside me. It points to the past, to the unknowable, to ghost memories that may lead me down a faded road of struggle or criminal means or daydreams, all grand design, hidden in plain sight. Odyssey of a toilet paper roll. Trivia. One tree produces about 100 pounds of toilet paper and about 83 million rolls are produced per day. I gotta stop for a second because I didn't write this poem during this crisis, but it's crazy how like it's connecting to this crisis, right? Thinking about toilet paper. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna start that back again. Trivia. One tree produces about 100 pounds of toilet paper and about 83 million rolls are produced per day. I run to the bathroom. Luckily, it's around the corner. After 2 long-ass minutes, the undergrad swings open the stall door. I rush past, drop trousers, and sit. Okay. And my hand reaches into the dispenser to pull at the roll. Never has empty space felt so empty. I curse that undergrad. An empty brown paper roll. Shit. Someone could snatch my laptop, but it is a private college. And as I contemplate my near future travels without wiping, the next roll of toilet paper mysteriously spins clockwise into place. A pure white sheet dangles as if saying, "You rang?" Deus ex machina. Thank you, Jesus. No. The custodian, Jesus. I saw him pass by while I glanced up from reading Black Mariah by Kevin Young. His reflection in the window passed by my vision of pristine lawns and bouncing cerebral cortexes in mock stylish, intentional thrift shop threads. What saweth his oracle, whence he set out on pilgrimage to the land of united greener pastures? Did they see for him restocking rows upon rows, in Trinity plastic paper roll dispensers, across the temples of knowledge within a private liberal arts college? Will Jesus's offspring about merrily, bouncing their cerebral cortexes, bittersweetly reminiscing when Papi blue-collared a future for them to white-collar in? Trivia. Global toilet paper production consumes 27,000 trees daily. More than 7 billion rolls of toilet paper are sold yearly in the United States alone. And from whence this toilet paper's travel commence? A virgin tree, a maple, an oak. Bark stripped, logs machined, wood chips emerge. Alchemy of industry turns nature via man's chemistry into bleached pulp, sprayed, cooked, drained, dried, scraped, cut, squared, perforated, rolled, cut, wrapped, boxed, shipped, received. Jesus opens a box of perforated geometric dead trees. Trivia. Americans use an average of 23.6 rolls per capita a year. Wikipedia. I think about the rolls of toilet paper he buys his college-age son or daughter for their freshman college dorm room, because even if the custodian will restock the shared bathrooms, Jesus knows that every one of his fellow custodial engineers will not be up to the task. He wants his children to always have a roll in hand. I exit the confession side stall, then the restroom, back to my $250 laptop, still there, waiting for me to pen this piece, which Jesus may never read, but his offspring can. Read it in their latest issue of The New Yorker. Tell their old man about a poem dedicated to his humble Promethean quotidian deeds, stealing a yuppie reality for his kin and kind as I steal mine from my imaginarium pantheon of idled white-collared minds. One day, hoping my immigrant father will roll his fingers around my words. Thank you, Reza. All right. Morir Soñando, an elegy for Heriberta Batista, mi abuela. Berta murió soñando. Night, your cloak, descanse. Berta, choose your home. Amongst the stars, coral of El Rio Águila, faraway islands forgotten by conquest where ancestors hold un lugar a la cosmic mesa for you. Heriberta Batista Ramirez Acosta, your name stays on my childhood lips, and I sing your hymns. One part jugo tropicana, one part leche, a spoonful of azúcar blanca served over ice in a tall crystal glass. Un morir soñando resurrects my childhood bliss. Berta would make me desayunos. Tres golpes of island-born love. Salchicha, queso frito, mangú, huevo frito, y morir soñando to wash it all down. Later, I discovered that these desayunos were postcards, postmarked with desire, landing me in the land of our elders. I know you now as more than just a spring break location. Berta left in her cloak of midnight hidden messages. La vida no es fácil, mijo. The philosophy of longevity. Tú eres un muchachito muy inteligente. A love supreme. Trujillo se me pegó a la falda y acá traje sus demonios. Post-Banana Republic syndrome. Dios perdona a todo. A God that eases reality. Esta ciudad mejor de los huesos. Surviving city winters. No te olvida de dónde tú eres. Dropping seeds of roots remembrance. Ay, mi hijo, que nunca te pase a ti. Tu papá es buen hombre, tampoco fácil. 2 sons buried before burying her, and 1 corrected the imbalance. Belta. Soñaste a good way to die. Your cloak of nightmare galloped old-timers, springing your soul into dreams country. Dance, draw, sing. I've been meaning to ask you, why did you wait so long? To which you answer in a language I have no reference for yet. But I do feel my heart beating in your soul's hands. Belta. Whenever you're ready, Reza. Dale! We just figured we'd try that out virtually, see if that works. Y'all can let me know later if it worked. Right on, right on. So, Reza's gonna help me read something, translation that I did for this amazing Mexican poet. His name is David Anual Gonzalez and Vasquez. I almost forgot one of his other surnames. Amazing Mexican poet. You can look up his work. And he is David Anual. You can look at his work through that. He's a native of Quintana Roo in Cancun. And he's doing just beautiful work. I met him when I was in grad school while I was doing a residency in Mexico. And so we've now been like just buds ever since and have been doing exchanges of our own work. So I've been translating some of his, he's been translating some of mine. And these are 2 pieces of his that I translated. So Reza's gonna read the original in Spanish, and then I'm going to read my translations.
Tajamar. El mar se extingue cada tarde y refulge al día siguiente. Pero cuando Tajamar se apague, ¿dormirá una noche sin fin nuestra laguna y sus habitantes? ¿Serás tú, Cancún, el azote de nuestras aguas?
Tahamal. At dusk, the sea extinguishes and glows again at dawn. But when Tahamal goes, will our lagoon and its inhabitants sleep in endless night? Will you be, Cancún, the scourge of our waters?
Haití, Cancún. Siento una estirpe de sal en las venas, un aliento de manjar entre los muslos, un resonar de caracolas en mis párpados. No hay tiempo para la memoria ni espacio para la derrota, solo fingimientos de salitre que cultivan la sonrisa como una ofrenda remota para adorados viajeros. ¿Cuántas sales entonces construyen mi semblante?
Cancún ID. I feel the lineage of salt in my veins, a mangrove's breath in my muscles, a resounding of seashells in my eyelids. There is no time for memory, nor space for defeat, only saltpeter bluffs cultivating a smile like a remote offering for golden travelers. How much salt, then, constructs my semblance? Gracias, Reza. Again, that was the work of David Anual Vasquez Gonzalez. All right, moving on with our program. So, let's see how we're doing on time. All right, looking good. So I'm going to read, in one of my other lives, I was a professional actor and, worked theater and did a little bit TV, things like that. And, I still do that work as well. I'm just, I think I'm now at a place in my life where I'm sort of just making a sancocho, right? A gumbo of sorts of my artistic identity. So anywhere from writer to performer to curator of experiences. So I think I'm just trying to pull all this stuff together and, and to do the work that calls to me. And funny enough, like at Word Up was one of the first places where I did a reading for my first one-man show, City Boy. So this is a monologue that I wrote, which is for a play that I'm working on. And just to give you a little context, the play is about an actor who is, I'll say he's a brown man, and he has this opportunity to play Othello. And now that he's gotten that role, he's been having problems that have been arising from him taking on this role of Othello. And maybe some of you know the play, Shakespeare. And there's things about that, right? There's things about that when Shakespeare deals with race and identity. Merchant of Venice, you have Othello, you have other circumstances of this. So there's things that start to happen. So this is a monologue, and he's actually talking to someone else, a scholar who has been brought in to help him kind of deal with let's say the trauma of playing Othello. So I'll go ahead and read it now. And then, so I'll start with Ramon, who's the actor playing Othello, and then Nina Simone Robinson is the scholar who's been brought in, and she's kind of like there as a confidant, trying to help him through this stuff. All right. I've been having this reoccurring dream, more like a nightmare, and it's freaking me the fuck out. So I'm in a car in the passenger seat, and the driver's face, I can't make it out too well, but I know that I know them. Like that feeling you get when you're around someone you think you met before, but don't really remember who they are. Yeah, like that. They're telling me something that's makes me want to jump out of the car, and they drive faster and faster. I see there's a dead end ahead. We're about to go over a cliff. I try to open the door, but the moment I do, I can't move. The driver lets out a deep, vibrating laugh, like, and said something like, niggas known this shit since day one. Can't escape a room with white walls. I look out at him and I'm like, I just realized that they're wearing a brown paper bag over their head. We've gone over the edge. Feels like we're floating in the air. Our bodies elevating from the car seats. I know I'm gonna die, but all I want to do is see the driver's face. The ground is coming towards us. My hand moves in slow motion. I grab the top of the paper bag, and as I'm pulling it off their head, I wake up in a pool of sweat. It's been happening to me ever since I started working on this play. Every night, same dream. What do you think it means? Why the paper bag? Like, I'm not trying to be psychoanalyzed, but damn, I need to know. I feel like this play is cursed. I don't know why. I want it to work out. I feel like it's my right to play Othello, you know? I'm a black man. Well, I'm a brown man who can pass for black. I mean, I'm a dark-skinned Dominican. I know I got black in me. I've had to play the sexy, swarthy villain because I was too dark to play the valiant, pasty-skinned lead and too light to play the gang leader in the TV prison drama. But in Shakespeare, I can be whoever I want. Although I wonder sometimes what Shakespeare would think of people who, like me, who are doing his plays. I mean, women playing actual women. A black man plays Othello, probably rolling in his grave, huh? I would think he would want a black man to play Othello. He'd want the real McCoy. Like, look how many black characters he has. Aaron the Moor, Caliban. Look, don't tell me that Caliban isn't black. Shakespeare practically invented the magical Negro with him. There's also Jacques with that great fucking speech dropping philosophy on white folks prancing in the woods. And this is Nina Simone. But where both of these men are strong, sharp-tongued, and even morose, Othello is the noble Negro. He must hold his head up high. He must be better than his white equals in every which way. He must be so loved that they don't see his blackness as something they knowingly abhor. So that when he does fall, it's a Greek tragedy. And he kills the white woman, which must have had heads rolling in Elizabethan theater. Or maybe not. It was a white male actor in blackface killing another white male actor in drag. Maybe in their twisted meta fantasy fetish, it's all right for white men to choke each other out. Ramon, I'm afraid to do it. I imagine my hands around her throat. I imagine feeling the life drain from her face, her white cheeks turning rosy red, then purple, then death gray, because somewhere in the darkness, I'm enjoying it. I feel relieved that she's dead. Nina, maybe in a strange way, you're doing it for Emmett Till and for countless other black people who have perished at the whims of white people's hate and greed and fear. Ramon, I never thought about it like that. So am I the driver with the brown paper bag saying to myself, nigga can't escape a room with white walls? I don't know. What do you think? Nina, I think you need to choose how you want to play Othello. Do you want to do Greek tragedy or blaxploitation, Black Panther, fuck you, Whitey? You must choose your destiny. If not, someone else will choose it for you. Thank you, brother. It was actually a song that I wanted to try and play